Righto, here you go. We're just going to do a quick demo on how to measure up for some blinds. We've got our form that we've downloaded off the internet, and we've got one of these things. I'm cheating, you won't have one of these. But basically this is the top hanger that goes into the top of the blind, and the top hanger is 130 millimeters, or 127, but let's say 130 millimeters. And we use this to determine if there's enough room inside the window frame for the blind to turn. When the blind's in here, it has to turn, and it's half of this measurement, so 65 millimeters clear room for the blind to sit in here and turn around in the window frame. The other thing is the tape measure that you use. Not all tape measures are created equal. This particular tape measure that I use has an inside measurement, and that adds on the block of the tape. So I can just read the number and it tells me what size is including the block. Some tapes have it written on the back here, add 89 millimeters on. But just to make it simple for you guys, I'll do it without doing that. So here we are, we want to put a blind. We've got our little thing. We've looked at it, a blind will fit in here, and if I run a tape on it, I've got 70 millimeters clear. So I'm going to use one of these little clips, is the one that will be used for this blind. If I didn't have 65, 70 millimeters, I can use this bracket, and this bracket will bring the blind forward a little bit, and you can get away with, say, 40 mil. If you've only got about 40 millimeters clear, you could use one of these. Otherwise, you have to use one of these brackets, and the blind then will go on the face up here. So we'll do that at the end, but for now we're just going to measure up for one of these clips. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and measure as high as I possibly can. I don't want to be measuring down at the bottom here. I want to try and get up as high as I can. Oh. So I hold the tape up nice and high, and I can see that that is 2110. And I just move my head so that I'm roughly in line with it. And 2110. So I write that down. Under width, 2110. Next, I want to check the drop. And the important thing here is, on a big window, you quite often get a dip in the top of in the middle of the window frame. So all I can do is lock my tape measure in and move it along, and I can see it's pretty tight here. And check it here, it's a bit loose. So this is going to be the narrowest gap, and that's what I require. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to hold the tape measure there. I'm going to bend right down to have a look, and I've got a measurement of 898 millimeters. So I'm going to write that down. Righto, so this particular window is a centre bunch, and we want the blinds to pull in from both sides and bunch in the centre. If the window opened from the middle and went out, it would be called a split. And if the window went all of one way, we would call it a left or a right. So if this window opened and I want it all to come over to this side, it would be called a right. And if the window opened this way and I wanted to come over to this side, it would be called a left. Righto, so that's basically that for inside the frame. Now, if we wanted to measure, if we didn't have the room in here and we wanted to measure it for the outside, I would have to re-measure it. So we'll just quickly measure it for the outside. The framework, I'm measuring from the outside of the frame to the outside of the frame, which is 2250. And I want to add a little bit on here to make sure that it comes all the way past the window frame. So I'm going to add another 50 mil on each side. So then the measurement for it would be 2350 wide. I would measure from the top, and you can see here we've got a tap, so I can't measure any lower than that level. and normally I take it to the bottom here and just a little bit further, another couple inches. So I'm going to measure it down to 1070, and I'll just check it against the tap, and we've still got 2 inches clearance, so that's fine. So I write down 1070, 2350, 1000, I'm going to go 1080. And I want it to go both ways, and I want to have the controller over there on the right, so I'm going to call it a split right. It's not too bad. It will hide back from this edge so the air doesn't get behind it too much, so that's it. And basically that's it. I fill it all out on the form, and I put in whether it's a top fix, so that'll be TF if I went inside the frame, TF, and if I wanted one of these little brackets, that's a top fix extension, so I'd call that top fix extension. And if it was outside the frame and I was mounting it up here and I wanted to use this type of bracket, that's called a face fix, so FF, and that's basically it. Our tracking comes as an off-white or a white, so basically if this was a white gloss, I would want a white tracking system, so I'd have but in this case it's an off-white, so I'm going to have a white birch with an insert, and we put the little strip of fabric in the track to match it all up. And the other decision is whether you want to have the little chains on the bottom or chainless. And I'm going to go chainless, no one likes the chains anymore. And that's about it. Fill out all the other details, scan it and send it back to us, and we'll get you a quote and send it out. No worries, thank you.